What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope we are all doing extremely well. We got a ton of great news to talk about today. A lot of great news. Unfortunately, it is not the most exciting news. I know I'm coming on here sounding pretty, enthusiastic and pretty adequate enough, but deep down, my heart is pretty much in pain. And we are going to go over all of that in today's stream. But before we get into all of today's topics, please, everyone, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, always drop them below. They do not have to be Mets related. And if you are watching this on replay or whatever, I appreciate you guys doing that. Props to you. In today's stream, we are going to be going over the New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals series summary. Then we are going to be transitioning into the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies series preview. The Phillies are coming into town to face the Mets, big 3-game series. We're going to get into that. Obviously, we're going to go over your guys' comments and, of course, the MLB standings because quite a bit has changed in the wild card in both the AL and the NL. So we're going to go over into all of that. So let's stop wasting any time and let's just dive right into it. So pretty much, as we could see, the Mets unfortunately got swept by the St. Louis Cardinals. It sucks to see. It really does. We got swept by the Cardinals, and that's all I could say. Honestly, the Mets didn't really put up a whole crazy fight in this series, which really sucks to see. But getting right into it, we could see game one, which was Monday's game. The New York Mets unfortunately lost Monday's game really with no pulse there. The Mets unfortunately lost Monday's game by a score of 7-1. It's tough, very tough. On the bump for the New York Mets, we had Rich Hill, the 41-year-old veteran. It was the veteran matchup, Rich Hill against Adam Wainwright. I think this was the first time that Wainwright was facing someone that was to a senior in quite a while. So that was pretty interesting to see. Getting into it, we could see Rich Hill went 5 innings pitched, surrendered 6 hits, surrendered 3 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Pretty much Rich Hill pitched pretty adequate. It just came to the point of him not really getting any run support, which has been honestly a lot of pitchers on the Mets thing recently. He was pretty nice, honestly. He had that nice sidearm slider, which we saw he used a lot in the National Series, and he really started to use it now, so I think that really worked for him. Overall, his body of work wasn't bad. I just think, you're going against a nice Cardinals lineup that is really doing something. The Cardinals lineup is really starting to wake up offensively. They looked good on the base paths, fast, athletic. Overall, the Cardinals lineup, unfortunately, was just really able to go at it against the New York Mets pitching staff. Pretty much, obviously, a lot of the damage against Rich Hill was pretty much done in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning. Otherwise, everything was pretty quiet for the most part. Getting into the bullpen, we had Heath Hembree come in, Miguel Castro. Both of those guys were pretty solid, really no complaints with them. Following that, we did have Yennsy Diaz come in, who pretty much just blew the game away, 4 runs. So that pretty much kind of just sent the game away. And following that, we had Trevor Williams, who came in, who was quiet once again. In terms of this Mets offense, it really was not there. There was pretty much nothing going on for the Mets offense. Scored 0 runs, big goose egg. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position because we didn't even get any. That's how bad our offense was this day. We left 9 people on base. Obviously, all of them were on first base. And we pretty much could not hit Adam Wainwright nor his curveball. So this really sucked to see. Pretty unfortunate. But you know what? It's how the cookie crumbles with the Mets. So Mets lost game 1. Pretty excruciating to see. But getting into game 2. Tuesday, the Mets lost once again, 6-5. I think this was a shot where they had the lead and they looked comfortable enough to win. And unfortunately, the Mets just said, no, we're going to lose. You had Marcus Stroman on the bump, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 8 strikeouts. Stroman had a pretty good start. I am not going to lie. I really was impressed with what we saw with Stroman. He had a perfect game going through, I think, 3 or 4 innings. Obviously, that splitter slider was really in effect for him that night. Swinging and misses, everything was there. Stroman looked really good. He had a solid outing. Just unfortunately, pretty much the same thing. The Mets could not provide really anything for him. Following that, and we are going to get into this because this was a pretty big topic that needed to be talked about, And that is with Aaron Loup. Aaron Loup was put in following Stroman's outing. Stroman only went 89 innings. Stroman threw 89 pitches. As you can hear, it is pouring outside. Marcus Stroman had 89 pitches going into, I think it was the 7th inning, yes. And the question was, he was still looking sharp. Should you have left Stroman in? But no, Rojas took him out for arm savior because, because we need to preserve arm savior going into September when every single game matters. So that was pretty rough to see. Pretty much getting into the bullpen. The bullpen was just really interesting. You had Aaron Loup come in. Aaron Loup had 7 pitches in 1 inning pitched. Usually with that, Rojas wanted to keep Loup in the dugout for the meantime. He wanted to secure Loup. He pretty much said the whole thing with Loup is that we want to keep him healthy, we want to keep him safe, and we want to use his arm mechanics to be nice and secure. And what does he do? He puts in Familia. Familia drives a walk and then gives up a 2-run homer, because why not, to get rid of the Mets lead. Following that, we had Trevor May come in, Diaz, Hembree, quiet, solid. We had Jake Reed, I believe was his name, who came in for an inning, 2 runs, and then Williams was quiet. We really taxed our bullpen this game, and that is a fact. I do want to get into the whole Loop thing after the offense. But in terms of the offense, in the first inning, Conforto really got things nice and started, allowed an RBI single to drive in Jonathan VR. Good to see Conforto really getting in on the action. And later on, Javier Baez got an RBI single to drive in the one and only $341 million man himself, Francisco Lindor. We are also going to touch on him a little bit because a little disappointing. Following that in the 5th inning, Conforto was probably like this close from getting a grand slam. Bases loaded, and it tucked in the foul pole, but he got a run at a sac fly, but I think anyone would take a grand slam over a RBI sac fly. In the 9th inning, Javier Baez hit a solo home run to tie it up, which let us go into extra innings. Sadly, it was late, so I didn't go live for it. I had some stuff to do. I wanted to go live, but I unfortunately was unable to because we know I like to go live. Typically when Mets go into extra innings for an opportunity of a walk-off. And the Mets were pretty close to that, but they pretty much just struggled with that. Obviously, in the 11th inning, we had Pete Alonso come up, who got out of a slump. Alonso, the first game and most of the second game, really struggled. He went on an 0 for 19 spree. Was having difficulties with the breaking pitches in the dirt. And simply he was hitting the ball well, just was hitting into a glove because, XBA, why not? So we had an RBI double to drive in Lindor, and then Alonso later scored that inning on a wild throw. The Mets did drop this game 6-5. The Cardinals were able to come back in the 11th inning, and the Mets were not. Unfortunately, with the Mets, it really is tough to see what happened. So pretty much we saw this pretty much throughout a lot of the season. And pretty much that is that Luis Rojas, first what we're going to get into. Trevor May was established the setup man. Luis Rojas stated Trevor May likes to be the setup man. In the Yankee series, we saw May was the setup man in the 8th inning or the 7th inning, and he unfortunately didn't do too well against the Yankees lineup. His fastball wasn't as meaty, to quote him, but he gave up a home run to Aaron Judge. I mean, I that's not like bad. Like if it was like Alberto Mondesi or someone that is not a power hitter and doesn't really hit home runs, yeah, I'd say that's kind of a little concerning. But it makes sense. So unfortunately, May kind of lost the setup man role because of that. I think it's unfair, not going to lie. So following that, Loup got out of an outing, 1 inning pitch with 7 pitches. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're out of it, Loup. Sucks to see. It really does. And then you think Loup maybe can go out for, the 8th inning, potentially. Maybe he could face 1 batter or 2. Rojas talks about arm mechanics and, not getting arm fatigue and, securing our arms and being healthy. But we have, we have like 18 games left. I think it was at the time of this. We had 18 games left in the season. Why are we taking out Loup? It's not May. It's not April. If it was April or May, I'd say, yeah, sure. Save all the arms you want, Rojas. Not, when we're, about 500 and, trying to chase for the playoffs. Can't do that. So I just found it very disappointing and very upsetting simply to see. It sucked. Really did. And then, simply enough, and this has been a constant thing that has happened this season. Simply enough, Rojas will put in Lugo or Loop in a situation with 2 outs and bases loaded to just get 1 out. They'll throw 3 pitches and get out of the inning, and then they'll throw in Familia or Reed or some other numbnut to blow it for them. It's the same thing, and I don't understand it. It's just Rojas, we got to do something with this. Really is unfortunate. I mean, give Loop an extra inning, dude. I don't know. It's, I've been coming on these live streams a lot, and I've been saying the same thing. And, it's a domino. I mean, I come on here, I say, Rojas puts Loop or Lugo in, specifically those 2 guys, to get an out, to get 1 batter out. Listen, if they threw 30 innings, if they threw 30 pitches, yeah, I probably don't think they're going to go the next day. But 7, I mean, come on now. It's tough. So it was an annoying game 2 of the series was. Let's get into game 3, yesterday's game, which, I wanted to, run away. Game 3, which was yesterday's game. The Mets lost. Big surprise, 11-4. Getting into yesterday's game, we had Tyler McGill on the bump for the New York Mets, who McGill had his worst outings of his rookie season. Pretty much with Tyler McGill, it's going to come to the question is, are they going to have to start limiting his count? It's the question. But getting into game 3, we could see McGill, 3 innings pitched, surrendered 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Really with McGill, and we're seeing a lot of the same thing. It's the off-speed command is not present, and he's giving up either a lot of hard contact or a lot of light contact. We saw that. I forgot who it was. I want to say it may have been Edmund or someone, but they hit a light blooper to an extent to Pilar, who wasn't able to grab that. So that's been the thing with McGill all season. He really has been struggling a little in the first inning. I don't know if he has been chilling with Carrasco too much. I think someone said that the other day, but that could be the possibility. So 3 innings pitched for him. Not a good day for the McGill family. His brother, Trevor McGill, I think is his name. Unfortunately, he pitches for the Chicago Cubs, and he pretty much blew it for them, giving a wild pitch on a walk-off to the Philadelphia Phillies. So not a good day for the McGill family. Castro came in following that, and Hand, pretty quiet, no complaints with them. Brad Hand's been pretty adequate enough for the Mets so far. Yeah, maybe 1 bad outing from some errors. Lugo and Heath Hembry came in. They really struggled. Lugo I don't know what's going on with Lugo. People are saying spider tack, and the curveball. Okay, whatever. With the RPMs, it seems about average. It's nothing really changing drastically that, he could fix automatically with just human nature. And then Heath Hembry came in, who got barreled quite a bit. 2 runs and 3 runs for both of those guys. Reed and May came in, pretty quiet for them. In terms of the Mets offense, in the second inning, Pete Alonso got things started off. Hit a home run, number 33 of the year, to left field. He moonshotted that. Good to see Alonso really starting to hit some dingers once again. In the third inning, Jeff McNeil was able to score on an error. I would like to say Jeff McNeil had a pretty good game yesterday. He was a home run shy of the cycle. He got a base hit, a double, and a triple. So pretty unfortunate, he came up in the 9th inning, and I was like, come on, hit a home run, dude. The game's pretty much lost, so let's get something to work for. But no, that was pretty much not the case for Jeff McNeil, and he was unable to get the cycle. So you never know. McNeil isn't really a power hitter, so, I was expecting a nice little base hit maybe the other way. But no, it didn't work like that. Pilar in the 6th inning came in, hit a nice moonshot home run to left field. I believe that was his 15th of the year. Jose Peraza came back off the bench, the IL and the bench. I don't know what he was chilling in Florida at rehab when he was cleared. So I don't know why it took so long for him to be called up. I don't know if they're going to throw him at second base or center field. There have been some talks that he was playing center field in rehab. It's better than Almora because I cannot stand Almora. Personally, I think he's a great guy, but as a player, yeah, Mets aren't resigning him, that's for sure. Ever since, he had that whole debacle down in Houston where he hit the girl with the foul ball, I think it really messed him up since then. He hasn't really been the same hitter. He's more of a 9th inning defensive guy, but we already have plenty of that. And you need some offense because if you go into extras, you can't rely on that. Peraza came in the 7th inning. Peraza was back, king of the bench mob. not showing he was messing around. RBI single to drive in Jeff McNeil. Pretty tough game for the Mets. We would have scored 6 runs, but those were robbed. Javier Baez in a 4th inning, I believe it was, with 2 runners on, almost got a 3-run homer, dead center. That would have been gone at Fenway. That would have been gone at Camden. I think that would have been gone at least half the major league ballparks. And it just died on the warning track for Harrison Bader to catch, literally leaning against the wall. Tough to see. And then Pete Alonso actually got robbed of a home run by Lars Nootbaar. I think that's his name. I couldn't tell you a single thing about that dude. When I saw it, I was like, that's not Dylan Carlson. Who the heck is this dude? And it was really tough to see. He robbed Pete Alonso. He jumped over the wall to rob Pete Alonso of a 3-run homer. Alonso he's been hitting the ball well. But these balls just die in the warning track. I mean, Alonso would theoretically at least have, to an extent, 4 extra home runs this last week. I mean, he had 3 against the Yankees that could have counted. The one that went straight to center that Brett Gardner caught on the warning track. The one that Judge almost robbed but stayed in the ballpark. And I think he had another one. And then now this one. But you know what? He hit a home run yesterday, so I'll take it. It would have been nice to see him have 2, really make up for the tough Yankee series. But you know what? Alonso's at 33. I'll take it. So Mets really, really struggled going into the Cardinals series. I'm really hoping they could turn it around. I mean, they're going to have to. I don't know. It's tough. But now getting into the new series, the Philadelphia Phillies are coming into town. The Mets have an off day today. The Phillies are finishing up a series against the Cubs. But getting into the upcoming series for the Mets, we will be facing our rival Philadelphia Phillies, who have been having a pretty solid year for the most part. A lot of people didn't expect them to have these huge expectations. Well, not a small little losing spree, but, their offense has been a little sneaky. They've been solid. Their bullpen hasn't been as bad. Getting into it, we could see tomorrow is game 1 at Friday at 7:10 p.m. And starting will be Zach Wheeler, the former New York Met. And typically everyone's like, oh, no, it's Zach Wheeler. We're done. Yeah, I mean, I think last time Zach Wheeler started at Citi Field, this dude really struggled. So I'm hoping maybe he can get some stuff done. So we will see what Zach Wheeler can get done at Citi Field for the Philadelphia Phillies. Pretty much Zach Wheeler is kind of taking over the role as the ace in the Phillies rotation. Of course, it was Aaron Nola, but pretty much I think Wheeler has exceeded that role a double the amount. So getting into that, Zach Wheeler will be on the bump for the Philadelphia Phillies. We could see on the season he is 13-9, posting a 2.86 ERA and has 225 strikeouts. We didn't really see that much with the Mets, him getting those slash line of stats. So it sucks to see. It really does. He's contending for Cy Young. If he will win Cy Young, it's a possibility. We're going to have to wait and see. Strikes out a lot of guys, low walk rate, his velocity's up there. He's really been limiting barrels, and hard contact has really not been there super much for him. So he's looking good, but like we said, he struggled last time at Citi Field. He doesn't have great numbers at Citi Field, so hopefully that he can catch that there for the Mets. But he will be facing the one and only Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker, who been pretty solid this season, I guess you could say. He's starting to get back to his he is really starting to get back to his first half. Taijuan Walker is 7-9 on this season, 4.29 ERA, and 137 strikeouts. We really could see that he's really starting to use the 2-seamer more as opposed to the 4-seamer, which would result in less hard contact, hence less home runs. And that was really what kind of killed him, I think, in the Pittsburgh series when he gave up like 5 runs in the first inning. So yeah, we're going to have to see where it goes with that. And, he pounds the strike zone pretty well. So hopefully Taijuan Walker could really be on his A game. So that'll be game 1. Getting into game 2, which will be Saturday at a little weird start, 7:15. Not super – a little weird start for the Mets, we'll say that. So this will be Saturday's game. We have Aaron Nola on the bump for the Philadelphia Phillies. High ERA, not a good pitcher. Very funny. Yeah, Aaron Nola is 7-8 in the season, 4.58 ERA, 202 strikeouts. He is a fastball guy, so that is a little concern when you see fastball against the Mets. This team cannot hit a fastball for their life. he gets barreled quite a bit. He has low velocity, high strikeout rate, and swing rate. So as soon as you hear fastball, low velocity, I'm like, yeah, that's a game. So we'll see what Aaron Nola can get going against the Mets. For the New York Mets, we will have Carlos Carrasco on the bump. 1-2 this season, a 5.59 ERA, 37 strikeouts. Get out of the first inning. That is literally my goal for Carlos Carrasco. Get out of the first inning and limit fly balls. Simple enough. It's simple. So getting into game 3, which will be the game of the century probably. Mets will be playing Sunday game 3 at 7 o'clock. That's right. The Mets are playing ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Yeah, I mean, it's not like we did that last week. And what happened last time we played the Phillies on Sunday Night Baseball? That's right. They almost gave me a heart attack. They won, but they almost gave me a heart attack. This was in May. We love Kyle Gibson on the bump for the Philadelphia Phillies. In terms of his Phillies stats, because, the Phillies picked him up at the trade deadline from the Texas Rangers. He has been 4-4 on the season, a 4.85 ERA, 38 strikeouts. He's a guy who limits barrels. He does have a walk issue at times, so that is something he kind of had in Texas, but then I feel like kind of grew in Philly. He has a nice sinker for the most part and low velocity. So we'll see what the Mets lineup can get going against Kyle Gibson. And then on the bump for the New York Mets, we will have Rich Hill. Rich Hill has been an interesting character for the Mets. The 41-year-old veteran is still up there doing stuff, and I give him props. In terms of his Met stats, because we did pick him up at the trade deadline from the one and only Tampa Bay Rays. He hasn't super been like the Tampa Bay Ray that he was, but he's been pretty solid with the Mets, I'd say. As we can see with the Mets, he does have a 0-3 record, a 3.88 ERA, and 40 strikeouts. He has that nice curveball. He's been using that sidearm slider, so continue to use that sidearm slider, and I will say you will be good, Rich Hill. Go 5 innings pitched. That is my goal for Rich Hill this game. So overall, we'll have to see what Rich Hill can get going in this game. So that'll be the 1-2-3 game matchup of the Mets and Philadelphia Phillies series. Pretty much getting into the Phillies and the Mets. As I stated, the Mets are off today, and the Phillies are finishing a game against the Cubs tonight at 7:10. 7:10. Phillies are 73-72. As I stated, they're finishing a rubber match. I should have said rubber match because they won last night's game, lost the first game of a series with the Cubs at Citizens Bank Park tonight. In terms of the Phillies offense, they have an average of 240, an on-base percentage of 318, and a 409 slugging. Phillies lineup is not crazy, but it could definitely do some damage at times. Their defense is really what kills them. We saw they sent down Alec Bohm. A lot of errors on the Phillies defense. We saw it last Sunday Night Baseball playing against them. So we'll have to see. Maybe the Mets can get a little luck there. In terms of the player to watch this series, I think I'm going to go Bryce Harper. He's been an MVP candidate this season. His last 7 games, he has a 4.76 average, a 6.21 on base percentage, and over 1,000.143 slugging, 4 home runs, 7 ribbies, 8 walks, and only 5 strikeouts. So we see he's really striking out less this year. He's usually in 2019 or 2018, he was usually a huge strikeout guy, and he's been having good eye coordination. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Looks like my thing went out. Hopefully you guys still hear me. Whoops. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. We will turn this off. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. There was some connection issue. Hopefully you guys could hear me now. 72-75 this season. The Mets offense, as we know, has a batting average of 239, 316, and a 391 slash line. Hopefully the Mets can get something rolling this series. They're really going to need to. So we'll have to see. In terms of the player to watch this series, we got Javier Baez is the player to watch in this series. He has been on fire, posting his last 7 games, a 480 average, a 581 on base percentage, and a 920 slugging. Baez has been nice. 4 home runs, 7 ribbies, 8 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He's walking more, striking out less. That's what I like to hear in Javier Baez. Simple as that. And even Alonso, maybe too. Hopefully, Alonso, he's starting to hit the ball well. Solid game yesterday. He's hitting the ball well. Simple solution like that. So we're going to have to see. So it's going to be a ride. It really is. I'm hoping the Mets could really start to get something going again. They're going to need to get something going. So, yeah, otherwise, all we could do is wait and see if the Mets are to sweep the series against the Phillies. This would pretty much put them back at 500. The Phillies are a team that are really starting to click to an extent. I mean, I'm not super crazy about the Phillies. I'm more concerned with the Braves because they're in first place, not the Phillies. Although, that's not a reason to judge a team. The point of the fact is Phillies, they have their flaws. The defense was one. We saw it last series. So I'm really hoping that that can come into effect for the Mets once again. So we will see. But yeah, if anyone else has any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. We are going to get into the comment sections of the stream. And then I do want to touch on the MLB standings because quite a bit has changed in that. So if anyone has any comments, I will get into that. But let me just pull up the MLB standings on ESPN because I believe a lot has kind of changed since. Getting into that. All right. So, alrighty. And that is up. All right. So getting into your guys' comments. I know it's been a quiet stream. I know a lot of people are giving up on the season, and as Eric would say, you got to be positive, Mets fans. But yeah, Eric, I appreciate you tuning into the stream, man. Eric, John, Quentin. We got some big, lengthy questions here and statements from our friends. So Quentin is first going to say, Sandy Alderson needs to go. Steve Cohen must bring in Theo Epstein and bring a good manager. Uncle Steve must clean house and bring players who want to win and play. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm assuming you mean Theo Epstein as GM, probably not manager. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or if you mistyped that. But yeah, as a GM, I think Theo Epstein would make sense. We'll have to see if he is the guy for it. I think there were some talks that he was potentially being interviewed after the Brody firing. So we'll have to see how that goes. So all we could do was wait. Obviously, Steve Cohen, he left these guys in. He gave them a chance. Say he gave them a chance. It really sucks to see Sandy Alderson come back. Yeah, he does have a 2-year contract, but there's something called firings. Ooh, I mean, the Red Sox guy, what was his name? Like Dave Dombrowski, I think was his name. He got fired. He had a year left on his contract. Same situation as Sandy. He got canned. So honestly, we're gonna have to see how that goes. But yeah, appreciate the information, dude. From Ruben is going to say, it is really unfortunate what went down with this team. The expectations were high for the Mets. Then injuries struck, especially with the DeGrom injury. Yeah, man, I agree with you on that. I mean, the DeGrom injury is really, really what killed us. And it sucks. The injuries came, and I know a lot of people say, oh, injuries, that's a cheap excuse. Well, I think for this it is because it came to a point where, we had Khalil Lee, Tovar, Williams. We had these AAA guys, we got so desperate we were calling, Milwaukee for whatever his name was. I forgot his name for Billy McKinney. That's how desperate this team came. So, I mean, I really think injuries is a valid reason in this case, especially for the Mets. And I mean, all around MLB this season, I mean, everyone got injured. The Mets, I would say, got it worse than the 2020 Yankees. Everyone on our roster got hurt for at least a week and was out. Gio, what's going on? Gio is going to say it's annoying to see Conforto, Smith, and McNeil, some of our homegrown guys slumping now. Also, did you hear Vientos is making his debut in Syracuse today? Yeah, I mean, for the first part of that is it really does suck, dude. I agree. It really sucks to see a lot of our homegrown guys really slumping. Conforto in a contract year, as well as guys like Dom Smith, Jeff McNeil. Really, the only guys who have been really carrying the table lately is Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo. So we're going to have to see what goes on for the Mets ahead. It's going to be a very eventful next couple weeks to a next couple months it's the first year for Steve Cohen ownership, and it's not looking great, but first year, I think the first year, you get an exception. You're trying to finagle, see what goes on. And then Vientos making his debut in Syracuse today. I did not hear about that, but that is good to hear. Vientos, Mauricio, those guys have been mashing lately. Kobe, what's going on, man? I appreciate you tuning into the stream as always. TP35, I'm glad you were able to make it. Appreciate you tuning in. Baseball is my air. What's going on? Karen, LFGM, YouTube Productions, what's going on? Marco, what's going on? He says Almago has been having a nice September. He has, dude. He really has. Kobe says LFGM. Jed, what's going on? Jed is going to say that Cedric Mullins catch yesterday was insane. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. And it's really unfortunate to see really what happened simply enough because both guys got robbed yesterday from home runs in New York. Gary Sanchez got robbed by Cedric Mullins. And then simply enough, Pete Alonso got robbed by a freaking granola bar, Newton bar. That's the name I'm calling him now. Yeah, sucks. Marco is going to say Stroman. Yes, sir. I agree with you, Francisco. The Mets do have to get rid of Rojas. I agree. Familia's been a guy, I don't know. Familia, the Mets have been wanting to get rid of Familia since, they pretty much got rid of him and then brought him back. I don't think he will be his 2016 self again. He was pretty okay with Oakland. I think he was an all-star with them. And then we got him back, and he's a guy that, he was having a nice season early on, and then he's having, back-to-back games where he gives up leads. Familia is the type of guy who will just give up a game where it just really is frustrating. But yeah, I agree with you, Francisco. Familia has been a guy that I don't think the Mets should really look into re-signing, and Rojas is gone, 100%. Nick says LFGM. Nick is going to say, what do you think will happen with Conforto? So personally, I think the best thing, Conforto was talking about it yesterday, and the Mets pretty much came out and said the most likely shot of Michael Conforto this offseason is going to be a qualifying offer. I think it's really the best thing. He's a Scott Boras client. Scott Boras is a pain in the behind. I give him respect. The dude really stands up for his clients, but he's a tough guy. And if the Mets are willing to, have that whole tough thing throughout the offseason, he's coming off a good 2020 60-game stretch, but he's coming off a bad 2021. People are saying it's the pressure of him being in free agent year. But this dude's been able to hit in the World Series as a rookie. He's been able to play in the All-Star game. I don't know how much pressure I could say. Yeah, he is coming off an injury, but, that's also going to affect, how much money teams are going to pay him. If he's going to get injured, let's be real. If Conforto could play like 2019, what did he have in 2019? Michael Conforto 2019 season. Let's see what this dude did in 2019. I spelled that wrong, 100%. Michael Conforto in 2019. So in terms of Michael Conforto's stats in 2019, we could see Conforto 90 runs, 141 hits, 29 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 92 ribbies, 7 stolen bases, 84 walks, 149 strikeouts, slash line at 257, 363, 494, OPS at 856, OPS plus a 171. Is that 200? Maybe. Maybe get that on base percentage and average a little up. Maybe if he did that this season, I'd say, okay, yeah, maybe I'd consider it. But what we've been seeing from this, it's just now, the dude cannot beat the shift. He can't go the other way. Something that it sucks to see. It really does. Ranting New York Rangers, I appreciate you tuning in. Let's go Mets. You know it, man. Travis, what's going on, man? Mets let you down again. Yeah, they've been struggling. It sucks. Michael, what's going on? Ranting New York Ranger says McGill had a miserable start. Yeah, it was a tough start for him. It really was. And then once again on McGill, Michael is going to comment and ask and say, do you think Rojas is going to have to start limiting McGill's count to pitch? I think so. I don't know what it was in the minor leagues. I think it was 70-something. He's exceeded that. I think that's going to be something that's going to be explored. Rojas said nothing about it. They didn't bring it up. Now there is McGill. But you only have so many games left. He's going to have 3 more starts this season? Probably 15 games. So he'll have 3-4 more starts. So at this rate, I don't really see what it would need. Jose, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I do appreciate the sympathy. I know your Angels are also in the same boat as my Mets, a little bit below 500. Vincent, I appreciate you tuning into the stream as always, man. Quentin is going to say, any shot the Mets interview Beltran again like Red Sox did with Cora? It's a possibility. Personally, I think enough time has passed since the Astros cheating scandal. I mean, it really just comes into Showalter or Beltran. Beltran, I don't mind a rookie manager. He's a player, so he knows what's going on. He's been a guy who's been retired for five years now, who's I think has enough time to understand the game, know what it's like to be a player. Beltran, I think, is a suitable pick, and I think there is a shot, absolutely. Karen, LFGM, of course. Baseball's Mayor is going to say, what do you think will happen with Conforto? Yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen with Conforto. I mean, I think the best thing is a qualifying offer, and that's the best we could do, I think. Jed, what's going on? Mr. Blueberry, what's going on, man? I appreciate you tuning into the stream. Logan, I appreciate you tuning into the stream. Logan says, is there any news on Syndergaard or DeGrom? I believe Syndergaard I think he faced some live batters. DeGrom, I think it's been pretty quiet. Connor is going to say, Hayden, I give you respect for coming on to these live streams while the Mets are still combating. At least that means like losing. A lot of other people would have just quit or kept quiet. Keep up the work, boss. I appreciate the words, Connor. That hits my heart. I appreciate it. Of course. Listen, if the Mets were, if this was Orioles talk with Hayden, like I said, I'd still be coming on here. Previews, summaries, I'd still be giving my thoughts. I'd probably be raging for more live streams, but I'd still be coming on here giving my thoughts. Just because the Mets aren't playing well doesn't mean I'm just going to quit, I don't like to be, a cheerleader. I think someone commented that on my last stream. I'm not going to sit here and be a cheerleader for the Mets. I'm going to sit here and say what I see and what I don't like and what I want to change. Paul says, will the Mets make the wild card? Probably not. I mean, I think it's crazy because the wild card is the best shot. And everyone thought both wild card spots were coming out of the West, and it's kind of changed. And now it's pretty much going to be Dodgers or Giants, and I guess potentially another team, maybe the Cardinals. We'll see. Vincent says Zach Wheeler and Bryce Harper are goated. They've been having a nice year, yeah. AB, what's going on? I appreciate you tuning into the stream. Vincent says the Mets love Sunday Night Baseball. Yeah, they really do. Devin says, let's freaking go Mets. Mr. Cool, what's going on? Kobe, what's going on? Zach, not cool YouTube, what's going on? I appreciate you guys tuning in. Quinn says, I think you asked that already. I may have. Yeah, you did. Galapos says, Hayden, are you a big baseball card collector? I have a fair amount of baseball cards in that bucket back there, or in the nightstand. I have probably a couple hundred in there. I'm not super crazy about it. I have a lot, but I'm not I don't go hunting for them and spend thousands of dollars. I definitely want to start collecting more cards, rookie cards. I definitely want to start getting into collecting more cards because it is a great thing. And I think I could definitely do that on the channel. Just have some baseball card content. Finn says, I think the Phillies have fallen, but I'm excited for the offseason. Yeah, same thing for my Mets, dude. Alyssa, what's going on? I appreciate you tuning in. Looks like Saney is staying as GM, and Epstein's probably going to be the president of operations. So I want to say that. Yeah, possibly. Ruben, what's going on? Kobe says, what's your ideal offseason? To be honest with you, my ideal offseason is probably giving Conforto a qualifying offer, extending Stroman. Who else do we have? Extending Stroman, Conforto a qualifying offer. I'd consider extending VR. I mean, whether he plays the bench, he's probably going to want to play every day. We'll figure that out when the offseason comes. VR has been nice. I like what I've been seeing out of him. He's a guy who has great bat speed. He's aggressive at the plate, swinging first pitch. He could be a great leadoff man, if not Nimmo's in the lineup. He steals bases. Just needs to be a little bit more cognizant and mindful on the base paths. But he's been great for us this season. Even defensively, he's been nice at third. And I think it comes to J.D. Davis, Jonathan VR. J.D. Davis, Jonathan VR. I'm going Jonathan VR. Trying to think who else we really have. I mean, maybe a guy like Rizal Iglesias for the bullpen would be nice to explore. If there is a DH, Nick Castellanos would be great to explore. Dombrowski has a Hall of Fame GM track record. It's going to be exciting to see what him and the rest of the NL East will do this offseason. It is. It really is. And LFGM, yes. So we're going to get into the MLB standings. We will see what's going on really with baseball, with the Mets, with the NL, the AL. A lot has changed since then. So pretty much getting right into it, into the first topic. As we could see, a lot's changed. The Rays are at 90 wins. So obviously, Yankees are dropped second place, and actually the Yankees are tied with the Blue Jays in second place in the AL East. So pretty much in terms of first place, or in terms of everything, we have the Tampa Bay Rays in first place. They're coming off. They had a rough series against the Tigers, and I forgot who they had. I think an okay series against the Blue Jays. They did get shut out one game, so that kind of sucks. But Rays are still a good team. You got the Blue Jays, who have been on fire. You have Vlad Jr., Marcus Semien. Both of those guys will be in top 5 MVP, no doubt. Vlad could possibly win the Triple Crown. You have a possible Cy Young contender in Robbie Ray. This team has been looking awesome, the Blue Jays. I think, honestly, their starting rotation was the concern going into the season. Alek Manoah has been a nice surprise. Robbie Ray has been a huge surprise. Steven Matz has been holding up. This rotation is really doing something. I think if this team's pitching holds up, I think they're good to go. You have the Yankees in second place, also tied with the Blue Jays. Yankees are coming off a good win yesterday from the Orioles. They were able to come back in the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs to lose. But Brett Gardner hit a nice BABIP single to drive in 2. Yankees are, they've had a lot of good moments and a lot of bad moments this season. In fourth place, 1 game behind the Yankees, you have the Boston Red Sox, who have been, struggling a little bit since the whole, outbreak on the team. They had a rough series against the White Sox. Good series against the Mariners so far. Yesterday, they came back in extra innings, put up an 8th spot in, I think, the 10th inning. Red Sox have been nice. Then you got the Orioles in 5th place, who are mathematically excluded from the playoffs. But see some good stuff from them. Austin Hayes had a good game for them yesterday. Getting into the Central, the AL Central, we have the White Sox in first place, and that's really it. I mean, you have Cleveland, 2 games under 500. They're, I guess, doing whatever. Tigers are 6 games under 500. That's pretty crazy to think. Tigers are a really good team. I think they are possibly a fighter for the wild card next season. I think they're ready to compete. They have AJ Hinch as manager. They have a nice young farm system that are coming into the league. I think they'll have some nice stuff ahead. You have the Royals. The Royals are Royals and Twins are Twins. Both of them are mathematically excluded from the postseason. In the AL West, pretty close matchup. Also, you got the Astros in first place. Astros are having a nice season. Their offense has been one of the best in baseball. They are the best team against playing teams that are above 500. You have the Athletics in second place. They're really fighting for that spot. Not kind of a weird season for the Athletics. They're a team that isn't really super crazy, but they get the job done. In third place, you got the Seattle Mariners, a team that has had a huge surprise this season. Announced with the Seattle Mariners, they will be hosting the Midsummer Classic, All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, and other events in 2023. So good to see for the Mariners. So we'll have to see what the Mariners can get done. I know Kyle Lewis has been out for a while, but I don't really think Kyle Lewis was doing that much when he was playing with them earlier this season. Kyle Seager has had a huge step up this season, no doubt. You got the Angels. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's been Shohei, I guess. Jared Walsh, Matt Stassi, I guess. Crazy to think if Trout was fully healthy in MVP form. I mean, this team could possibly have 2 guys combined for MVP. So that's really crazy to see. And then you got the Texas Rangers in 5th place, who are also pretty much mathematically excluded from the postseason. Getting into the National League, we could see in the National League, we have the Atlanta Braves in first place. They are almost 10 games above 500. They're coming off a pretty okay start against the Marlins. Braves are really competing out there. They needed some bats at the trade deadline. They got Jorge Soler. And who else did they acquire? They acquired someone else. Jock Peterson to replace Acuna, who was injury. And then in terms of leave of absence, Marcelo Zuna. So I can only imagine this team when Acuna comes back. Their pitching has been holding up. Braves are Braves. Phillies, a game above 500. They've been the Phillies. Their lineup is whatever. and they guess they've been an average team. In terms of the Mets, pretty sure we know about my Mets. 3 games above, 3 games under 500. They've really been slumping. What else is there more to say? Coming off a series sweep against the Cardinals, you have the Marlins, who are surprisingly in 4th place. To be honest with you, I think I said in my preseason predictions, I think I'd had the Marlins in 4th place. They're a team that, their records don't look that great, but they have a lot of young guys with a lot of young talent with ambition, and they're willing to work with some stuff. Then you got the Nationals in 5th place, mathematically excluded from the postseason. Tough season for them, honestly. I mean, you got Juan Soto, and that's pretty much about it. Tough to see out of them. In terms of the NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, 1st place. They've been nice. Mets will be facing them soon. Kind of like the Mets, I feel. I mean, their starting pitching is carrying them, but their offense, I mean, who on the Brewers' offense really stands out to you? Besides maybe like Willie Adames, Garcia. I mean, Yelich has been having a down year. No one really stands out. It's, it's Burns, Peralta, Woodruff, Hader. It's the pitching that really picks them up. Kind of like what happened with the Mets in the first half. So really, really unfortunate to see the Mets drop that, but good to see, the Brewers really have that. In 2nd place, competing in the wild card now, you have the St. Louis Cardinals. This team is carried on a veteran pitching presence, and it has really been doing the job for them. Their lineup is something else. Nolan Arenado had a nice series. Tommy Edman had a nice series. Yadier Molina had a nice series. He made his 100th start at catcher. 1,000th start at catcher. My apologies. He's been looking nice. You got the Reds in 3rd place, who are, a couple games behind the Cardinals. They're competing. Their offensive lineup is, they were leading the league in average and on-base percentage before the All-Star break, but they kind of take a dive. Pitching isn't really that great. Pitching is kind of what kills them. You got the Cubs, who I think at one point last week, we're going 8-2, and they kind of dropped since then, so that makes sense. Pirates are mathematically excluded from the playoffs, but they got some nice pieces ahead. Brian Hayes will be nice for them. In terms of the NL West, you got a lot of action going on for them. You obviously can see in the NL West, 2 teams clinched this week. We'll see which team makes the wild card, which team takes the division. The Giants 2 days ago clinched their division, and yesterday I think it was the Dodgers made the 2nd spot to make the playoffs. Giants are a nice team. I mean, if you were to tell me that the Giants were to make the playoffs this season, I'd say you don't know anything. I think I had them in 4th place, like 3 or 4 so games behind 500, and they're probably going to get 100 wins possibly. Well, yeah, they're going to get 100 wins, unless they just lose every single game. Giants are a really good team on paper. They don't look good. I mean, Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey. I didn't really expect those 3 guys to carry a team to the playoffs. Their pitching has been nice. I think that has also been a little bit of luxury for them. Dodgers, what is there to say about the Dodgers? Dodgers are just a really good team overall. They got it all year around. Oh, boo-hoo, they're like 100 games over 500. Oh, no. Padres, 3rd place, 5 games above 500. Kind of unfortunate season for the Padres, obviously, going into this season. They really had high expectations, but Tatis got hurt a lot. He had a couple injuries scattered throughout the season. Blake Snell wasn't really performing on the bump, as well as Yu Darvish. They've been getting better now, but time kind of affected them. Got the Rockies in 4th place. Nothing really crazy. Pretty surprising. They're only 10 games under 500. Trevor Story's been carrying the team nice. McMahon, crazy to see what they do with them this offseason. And then you got the Diamondbacks, who are 1 game away from 100 losses. Didn't expect them to be this bad. And they are there. So going into playoffs, if the playoffs were to start today, we would have the Tampa Bay Rays, Houston Astros, and White Sox winning the division. And being in the wild card, we will have the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Red Sox are trailing behind Athletics, Mariners, and maybe if Cleveland could, they're still in the name of conversation, and why not the Angels, I guess. In terms of the National League, we could see the Giants would win the division, Brewers and Braves, and in the wild card spot, we have the Dodgers and the Cardinals, with the Padres a game behind, Reds a game behind, Phillies close, Mets trailing, and pretty much that's it. And overall, Dodgers, best team in baseball. Diamondbacks, Orioles, worst team in baseball. All right, so Diamondbacks lost the title of that. Good for them. Obviously, what I think will happen, I think the division winners will stay. But I think I could see the Red Sox getting hot, and I think I could see the Blue Jays continuing to stay hot. I could see the Mariners getting a little good. I think really the AL East is really having a matchup of Blue Jays will be facing the Yankees a bit more, the Rays a bit more, Red Sox I think one or two more times. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. A lot of in-division matchups for the AL East. Same for the Mariners. They'll be facing the Athletics, the Angels, the Rangers a lot. So, those games are really going to count a lot. And I think in the National League, it's going to be close. I mean, with the Dodgers and Giants, that's going to be a great matchup to see. So we'll have to see what those two teams got ahead. Overall, I think I could see the Dodgers taking the division. Obviously, the Brewers taking the division, and the one and only Atlanta Braves taking the division also. It's going to be something for them. That's a really crazy matchup going into the playoffs for those guys. And then in terms of the wild card, you'd have the Dodgers, and I guess the Cardinals is really what it's going to look at now. I could see the Padres maybe getting something. They have a pretty okay schedule ahead. Reds too, and Phillies are there. So if the Mets sweep the Phillies, they will be up at 75, 500. So yeah, that is the MLB standings for this week. If anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to drop them below. We probably are going to call it a stream here. I know it's been a little quiet. Kind of a cruddy day outside, so that pretty much means, Mets are not playing today, so that kind of sucks. LFGM, of course. Geo, AB. AB, if you were interested, feel free to message me on Twitter or Discord if you would like. Marco, appreciate you tuning in, and Quentin, once again, I appreciate you tuning in. So, I appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. As always, it's been a rough season for the Mets. A lot of interesting time coming onto these streams. I do appreciate everyone for always tuning into the stream. It means a lot. I really do appreciate it. We're probably going to call it a stream here, though. Otherwise, we're going to have to see what the Mets go ahead. Off day today. I'll probably watch the Yankees-Orioles tonight or something. And otherwise, that's all we could do going ahead. So I do want to thank everyone for coming in to today's stream. If you are new to the channel or watching this on a replay, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, comment, all that great stuff. Follow me on my social medias, my Twitter @MetsHayden. Message me on there. We can talk baseball. If you have a Discord server, whatever works for you guys. Otherwise, I appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream as always. Let's go Mets, everyone. Let's try to get something going against the Phillies. So pretty much game 1 will be tomorrow. Game 2 will be on Saturday. And game 3, which will be Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN Baseball. We know how the Mets are on that, which will be on Sunday at 7 o'clock. I do definitely want to start doing some game streams. That is something I do want to start doing. I know a lot of people are telling me, oh, Hayden, what about, do the game streams and stuff. And I think we're going to look into that because I kind of feel bad. I kind of been kept saying, oh, I'll do some game streams, and then I kind of don't. So mark my words. Before the season ends, I'll at least have one game stream out. Well, I'll have to see. I mean, if Syndergaard makes an appearance this season, I'll definitely make a stream for it. Otherwise, if he doesn't, we'll see. Maybe I'll go live for maybe one of the Brewers games, or and you never know. I mean, if the Mets always go into extra innings, I always go live for that. I really appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. If anyone else has any more comments, questions, remarks, statements, drop them below in the comment section. Otherwise, we're probably going to call it a stream here. It's been a great stream. Do appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. I know times are tough for the Mets, but you know what? You stick with your team. I mean, I know Orioles fans that are sticking with their team. They watch every single game. I don't know any Diamondbacks fans, but if you do know any, then, they have sympathy too. So seems like everyone's good. What's going on, James? I appreciate you tuning into the stream, man. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well also. We're probably going to call it a stream here. I appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. Till next time, baseball fans. See ya. Let's go, Mets. Let's go. Take care, guys.